Hello everyone, today I'll be doing a solo Grandmaster run, Disgrace with Warlock. For my subclass, I'll be using Arc Warlock, Chaos Reach. Here are the mods and fragments I'll be using in this video. For my kinetic, I'll be using Wish Ender, next I'll be using Arc Glaive, and Typon. This week I decided to go for the Arc Warlock subclass and use the famous exotic, the Vesper of Radius. The reason why is because, well, it's popular this season, very powerful, and it would just make life easier using this exotic, especially for this GM since the boss is very tanky. And you can have a lot of rifts depending if it's surrounded by enemies. So first things first, we're going to deal with the Servitors. And let me just say, the beginning is always the most annoying because with the auto aim assist where these ads try their best to not let you take down the bigger champions. So I did use a linear over a rocket. I mean, rocket is good as well, but because I kept accidentally or sending myself back to orbit because of auto aiming assists, or I like to call it the console aim assist. I'm trying to do DPS at the bigger champions, but it's not letting me. I just decided to go for the linear. Another thing I noticed is the surges actually change bi-weekly. I noticed last week it is the Arc and Void Surge, and then this week it's going to be Strand Surge and Arc Surge. It's completely weird that every week there's a rotation of certain surges, and I do wish that they could just have just one surge or two surge and then just leave it for that Pacific Nightfall. And that's just my opinion, everyone is different. Now on this mini section you could throw a grenade. I don't have my grenade left, so I had to wait so I could deal with the shanks since they will spawn. And I'll be spamming the Arc Soul ability as well. The Arc Soul will help you, especially if you cannot see where the enemies are, which sometimes I have trouble when I forget to wear my glasses, so my bad for that. The Arc Soul will help you out dealing with the ads that are hiding or nearby, and I'm going to be using the advantage of glaives because it's going to help me not be sent back to orbit. During this part, I was just using Wish Ender, and the reason why I'm using Wish Ender is because it's way easier dealing with the bigger champions, and I just cannot bother myself using different exotics. It would just make the run longer and hideous, and I wanted to throw my Arc Grenade from where the ads will spawn from the right side, the door. That's why I was standing here. I was waiting for the ads to spawn from the left side so I can make life easier and then deal with these ads on this area. So my bad for this one. I actually was supposed to stay on the opposite side. This is not a good spot. I don't know why I went over here. I probably was in a bad mood because I didn't want to do this run with a meta loadout, but at the same time I had to. So I wasn't really enjoying myself when I was doing the solo run. It was just basically I gotta force myself using meta weapons or a meta subclass just to get this done over it, because trying to do a creative loadout just takes too much time and effort, and it's just not worth it. For me, it's not worth it, and no one's really interested for this season, which is not your fault. You know, this is the game's fault. Alright, it's nobody's fault, it's not my fault, it's not your fault, it's the game's fault of making GM so unbalanced, so hideous, restricted artifact mods of what weapons and exotics you can use efficiently. I mean, barrier is auto rifle. We got Wish Ender, Ariana's Vow, which Ariana's Vow will be buffed very soon. It's gonna be the meta very soon once they buff it, because they're gonna be buffing hand cannons. Or if I miss out, I apologize. I haven't really read the TWAB so much for last week because I've just been so busy. Yeah, that's one good thing. I'm going to be buffing hand cannons so I can take advantage of the exotics in the future. So, baby servitors. I mean, these baby barrier champions. I am so sorry. Devil's Lair. You know, I see these cute little adorable baby servitors and they just look like that. And also Grasp of Radius. You know, when we had to take advantage of these baby servitors to break the fallen shields at the pirate room. Well, that's what I think of it every time I see these barrier champions. I am so sorry. I know that is such a mean thing to say, but that's how I feel and that's how I see it. So be aware that these vandals like to take advantage of the barrier champions when they are immune. When they are immune, they go rampage and get aggressive when they aggro you. So they actually try their best to just melee you or just make your life impossible because they're you're trying to do DPS of these barrier champions, but they're just not working out. They just don't want you to take them down. And then we have the 3 wizards in this room as well. So that's another reason why I use a linear fusion rifle. I know linear is not that great. I mean, it is good, but it's not that great for Disgrace. But I did find a nice, neat spot to use all my linear fusion to deal with these. Well, to deal with the boss, because she is so tanky. But other than that, this is a section where there's going to be a lot of barrier champions. And this is one of the reasons I'm using Wish Ender. I mean, this is not my fault. Alright, so I mean, people get mad. People get upset when they see players using Wish Ender. Alright, well, here's the thing. Alright, Artifact mods, barrier is auto rifle. And it's just going to make life impossible. And it's just better to use Wish Ender or Ariana's Vow, but I would recommend Wish Ender since there is no surge for solar. Or you can use Obelisk. I mean, Obelisk is also another option you can use if you don't want to use Wish Ender. But for me, I'm just going to use Wish Ender because I did read. I did read some stuff of what's going on. They're going to have a downfall damage with the bow. So that means Wish Ender is going to get affected. Which is okay. I mean, for me, it's no big deal. It's just gonna mean that GM's gonna be much longer. I mean, this year is just horrendous. It's just awful. I mean, it's basically I have to use meta weapons, meta subclasses just to get things done, which is not fun. I mean, I used to do creative loadouts to make it interesting, but it's really hard to do that for this season. Probably next season until they change the layout. Or maybe they should have more options dealing with the barrier champions. I mean, yes, you can take down the barrier champions with volatile rounds with barrier. Yes, I know that. But these surges are kind of messing up the build. Because these surges are just a mess. I mean, if you try using stasis on, let's just say, try and use stasis on this Nightfall, you're gonna do really less damage, less DPS than a Void subclass. You're gonna do worse than the Arc subclass, because the Arc subclass is gonna do way more damage because the surge, Arc surge, and there's really no stasis surge for this season, which I understand. You know, this season Arc. Yes, I know that, but it's just an example. You can't really go creative. For GMs, you just have to use this and there. Alright, I'm gonna deal with Ballerina barrier champions. So I decided to use my super. That's why I didn't use my super or spam it a lot for this area because I need to use my super for these barrier champions. These barrier champions, for some reason, I don't know why, but they seem to heal very fast, and they use void. They shoot void at you and they take a lot of damage from you. For some odd reason, they're very aggressive. I wouldn't mess with them. I'm not sure which one's worse, if it's the void barrier champion or the arc, because there are certain arc barrier champions that can two-shot you for some odd reason, depending of where you are, and then the splash damage, it's just awkward. You know, Concussive Dampener is also a nice perk you can use. And then welcome to the struggles of console aim assist. So I was trying to take down the barrier champions, but with the console aim assist that we have trouble on console, on Xbox and PS5 or PS4, Xbox One. Sometimes things don't go as we want it to be. I mean, I'm trying to do DPS, but these fallen ads are in the way. I mean, I'm trying to take them down as fast as I can, but it's just stuff that really bothers me so much. That's one thing I like about Disgrace. I really hate this section. I hate this area. It drives me crazy. If I was on Hunter right now, I would just go and turn invisible and just go to the backside. I mean, that's basically what I would do if I was a voice subclass. If I was Arc, I guess I'd stay in this area. Wouldn't really bother myself trying to go to the opposite direction. Once you cleared out all the ads and you just go to the boss fight. Yes, the boss fight, finally. It's gonna be so boring. For me, but not for you. See, one thing about the boss is very, very tanky. And if you see a flag, just take advantage of it and pick it up. I decided to pick it up because I needed some heavy linear so I can deal with the bigger champions, deal with unstoppable champions. And sometimes I take down these cursed thralls because, well, sometimes they can one-shot me randomly and it's very awkward. So I don't want to risk it, and I don't want to waste time, so I just take them down if they are near me. Sometimes it's just thralls. If it's thralls, then I just jump over them and just be on my way at the boss fight or the pre-boss fight. I always just use my super and then I pull back because we're going to deal with 2 more barrier champions and much more. So I use my super and she's going to move a lot, so forgive me for that. That I have no control. That is the boss. She loves to move around. See, the one thing I don't like about the boss is when you break the shield, it starts to float around left and right, or hide. It starts to get really smart and try to hide until you shoot it. Or it's going to regain its shield, then it's just going to spam its arc. Two barrier ballerina twirl champions will try their best to take you down. You must use your linear, use your heavy, because the thing about these barrier champions is they like to back away so you can't hit them or hurt them, or use your wish ender. I mean, that's the reason why. So you have to really make sure you take them down, at least one of them down, as quickly as possible. If not, then they're both gonna huddle and hug, and they're both are going to protect themselves, and then they're going to regain their health, which is not fun. Unless I was on the stasis subclass, this wouldn't really happen, or a strand subclass, then I would say no, just shackle away and then deal with these barrier champions, but I can't really say that since we are in an Arc subclass on Warlock. I was going to go on Hunter, but I'm taking a mini break from Hunter because of Corrupted, too much work, by the way, and I'm probably going to use Hunter next time. Not Devil's Lair, so funny story. I don't think I'm going to be using Hunter on Devil's Lair. That's my last GM that I need to work on. I want to do it on Titan, but they disable utility kickstart. They also disable other mods for the gauntlets that I kind of need for my build to make it work for my Titan. And because of that, and it's ruined, and I'm not gonna wait till next week for them to get utility start to be available again. I guess I'll just go on Warlock since I can't go on my Titan. Because I really want to go on my Titan for Arc Subclass since it is Arc this season. And then the dungeon. Oh my god. See, the reason why I didn't get it done in time was because of server issues. Now it's getting kicked out. It was just a waste of time for me, so I just decided to take a break. But I will come back later. I need to get the GMs done and over it. Unstoppable champion will always spawn in this area. Just make sure you take him down as much as you can. But be aware of the Arc Barrier Champion on the top right, where he can two-shot you. And for some reason, the Arc Barrier Champion from the top is powerful. Maybe because of the splash damage. I'm not entirely sure. I'm just making a prediction or conspiracy of why this Barrier Champion on top is so powerful and it can two-shot you or melt you even with double Arc Resilience and Concussive Dampener. It's just a conspiracy and just thinking why it does that. I'm just waiting for my drift so I can throw my grenade. Arc Pulse Grenade. I was thinking of using Storm grenades, but then I realized it's not that powerful as Titan. So can't use that, so I decided to use Arc Pulse grenades. Also, another idea was using these flash grenades. I was thinking of using that on my Warlock, but then I thought about it and said, I don't think it's gonna work. So I decided to just use Arc Pulse grenades for the Warlock. Alright, so now Barrier Champion. This is the Barrier Champion I don't like. Very awkward, and you have to be super aware of the curse throw. Sometimes they glitch out, they can sneak up on you. So make sure you have enough linear because you want to take down this horrendous Barrier Champion. Because he's the one who's going to mess up your runs most of the time. Now for this area, I decided to quickly jump on top of the platform so I can deal with the Barrier Champions much easier. And then we're gonna get to the boss fight. Oh, great. So later on I will do a mini time skip. And the mini time skip I'm thinking is the last phase where I kind of mess up my DPS because the boss was hiding way too much that I messed up. And I had to deal with all these ads, which I wanted to skip them, by the way. I was trying to do a method where I skip these ads and just kill the boss really, right away and get it done and over it. But because I jumped off the spot, which I forgot and I shouldn't have done that, the boss pulled back and it was hiding and I had to do the boring way, which I didn't want to do. And I do apologize for the background noise. It's morning, and every morning I have neighbors that like to cut their grass a lot. Don't know why. I think they're obsessed with it because they do it every 2 days. Every 2 days. I'm not sure why. It's weird. I'm not really sure why, to be honest, of why they love to cut grass every 2 days. Funny story, they actually hire people to cut their grass. It's not even them. Most of them, 90% in this neighborhood. I apologize for the background noise. So this is the boss that likes to hide. And she likes to go left and right. See, when you do break the solar shield, she starts to move around a lot. So during this phase, she will move around. And you just have to use Wish Ender to make sure she doesn't burn her shield out. Later on, I did figure out the pattern. She was moving left and right. And then by the time she moves, I have to wait and then just use Wish Ender. So right now, I didn't know the pattern because I forgot. I forgot the pattern how it goes. But the problem is if you let the boss's shield, if you let it recover its shield, then she's going to start spamming his arc. But if you guys notice, because I'm consistently shooting at the boss, and I'm not letting her have her shield back up, she's not shooting any arc. So this is just a neat method you can do if you don't want the boss to shoot arc. Now during half of the health of the boss, even though you are doing this method, she will shoot arc. But because during this phase she's not too aggressive as the other phases, she's not going to be as bad as this one. So notice she used her arc blast, and then when you break the shield, she starts to hide. So you can see left and right. And then she's gonna go left and right again. Left. And then disappear. Like a wizard. Funny. It is a wizard, right? So 2 of the Arc Knights will spawn, so if you do see them, try your best to use your glaive and take him down. Have your Arc Soul help you out. So I will throw Arc Pulse Grenade and pull back because of the splash damage that they do. The splash damage does so much damage at this spot, and it's just really awkward to stand there unless I had my Rift. But since you don't have your Rift, you can just go and stand on this side, on this spot, and you could just use Wish Ender. Wish Ender away. Take down the acolytes in time, because if you just stay in this spot and not take down the acolytes, they will have a chance to throw fire at you. Now for this one, I have Solar Resilience. I was going to use Concussive Dampener just to make it easier dealing with the Arc Knights, but because I didn't have enough space, it didn't work out, so I had to use Solar Resilience. Another option you can use is Void Resilience. So if you're having trouble with the Bear Champion shooting Void at you, then I recommend going for the Void Resilience. So once we do take down these acolytes, you have to make sure you are on top of the platform if you want to, or you can do the other method where you hide behind this box and then just do precision shots. I didn't really do that method because it's very risky, and I decided to just go for a different method. The method you will see very soon, it's very safe for the Warlock. Now, doing this method on Hunter can be a little dangerous. You just have to know the rhythm and the pattern of the boss. Once you know the rhythm and the movement of the boss, then you won't really have trouble with dealing with the boss at all. I was having a little trouble here and there, but you'll notice it'll move left and right. And then it won't really shoot its arc. But during half of the health, it will start shooting arc, so you have to be very careful. So the trick over here is you have to keep moving while using Wish Ender. Now I did try using a linear, it didn't work out, it doesn't seem to work. It also works using Wildehorde. I remember my old previous solo runs, I was using Wildehorde and then just jumping on top of the box, or doing this method, just jumping left and right, just to do precision shots and dealing with the boss. So at this part, when you do see the boss pop its smoke, she'll have a high chance of shooting arc at you. Once she does that, you need to pull back behind the box and then just spam Wish Ender. This is when the boss starts to get very aggressive. So just make sure you have your arc cell to help you out so it won't pop his shield. When it does pop his solar shield, then it's likely, most likely 100% that is going to pop out of nowhere, float and then spam arc at you. Now this is the method where this one could be extremely dangerous for the Hunter. Titan not so much, but if you're using a Strand subclass, then I do recommend the shackle on this area and then just use your super for Warlock. If you are on Hunter, then shackle away and then just take down these ads. If you are going for the Hunter Strand subclass, I would be very careful with the curse roll, so I would definitely just use your charge attack if you are planning to use your Hunter build. Or if you are using the Titan, Arc Subclass, Arc Grenades Away. See, the reason why I'm not using Titans because the utility kickstart is disabled and other certain mods I kind of need for my Titan. It is extremely frustrating. I'm not sure why I got disabled. The only thing I know is because of PvP. I hope that's not true. But if it is true, it is a disappointment that because PvP is the reason to disable it for PvE. If it is the reason, I do not know, I haven't read it so much. But to disable it, they also disable other mods as well. Yesterday, by the way, I hope they'll get a fix. But knowing Bungie with these server issues, I think it's gonna take them a week or more. And I might as well just use the different subclass, which is why I couldn't go on Titan for this video. I mean, I wanted to go on Titan this video. I wanted to, but mods were disabled. Certain mods I need for my Titan, especially the gauntlets. I need it for the build to work or it's going to be long and boring. Alright. So now this is the part where things get interesting. This is the phase where you really need to pay attention to the boss. Once she pops her smoke, you gotta move back and then use Wish Ender. Just see how the boss is reacting, see how she is. Just remember that when she pops her smoke, or if you see this little arc, if you see this arc blast, or you see the boss getting ready to shoot at you, then pull back. Once you know this method, once you can manipulate the boss's movement left and right, then you can easily just spam Wish Ender and your super with your Arc Hunter or any subclass for Hunter, with your Warlock and with your Titan. The reason why I don't really stick around behind the box is sometimes the boss likes to use a smoke on this spot. So that's another reason why I move around left and right. Just try your best not to move too much at the left side, at the right side, because sometimes a cursed thrall spawns there and then they can one-shot you. So right now I'm just waiting for my grenade. You can also use your glaive if you are having trouble with the boss. And then just repeat with the method and then just try your best to do DPS. As I said before, during half of the health of the boss will get aggressive. She will get aggressive. She will be very aggressive with you using this arc blast. Here I was being reckless, so I should just keep doing the movement. But the problem is this boss spammed this smoke. And I can't see. See, I cannot see of where the boss is moving, and because I couldn't see and because she was spamming this smoke on herself, I don't know why, she's having a tantrum, she's pissed off, she's not having a good day. I just couldn't see her movement so much, even though I'm using Wish Ender, even though it can highlight. But just letting you know, during half of the health of the boss, be aware that the boss will get aggressive, and this will be the perfect time of you using your super. So if you do want to, I do recommend just wait for your super until the boss has half of the health, and then use it during the part where the boss gets aggressive, and then you won't really have trouble too much. Like when she starts spamming so much arc where you can't control the movement anymore, when it starts shooting its smoke, then use your super, and then that way you can skip that phase. Well, not skip it, but you can make that phase much quicker. This is the third phase, which I will do a mini time skip very soon. Not this, but when I jump to the other platform dealing with the ads, I will do a mini time skip. So if you guys are wondering, yes, I am using Vesper of Radius exotic, and because we have so many ads at the bottom of the boss fight, since I'm on a roof, I can get my rift over and over again and then just farm my arc pulse grenades. Now the downside about this method is you have to stay in this spot no matter what. If you jump on the other platform, even for heavy, you're gonna make the boss hide and move, and she's just not going to stay in this spot. See this spot over here you see? She's not going to stand here anymore. So the biggest mistake I did is I jumped to get some ammo because I got greedy and I just wanted to use my linear, alright? I just want to get this run done. I was just not in the mood in my video. It's just an example of mistakes. I could have made this run faster. You know, I could have get this done in 33 minutes. Or, you know, oh well, things happen. My mistake, my bad. So make sure you just stand in this spot and hopefully this boss will behave and cooperate with you. So you can see I ran out of ammo. I used my healing rift. And my healing rift is starting to grow more and more. And then I just keep using it over and over to deal with the Arc Knights, because the Arc Knights were in the way. Alright, so I'm trying to see if the boss will move, because the boss was being so awkward. It was being such a coward. I was just so impatient that the boss was just not moving a lot. So right now I was trying to make the boss see me so it can move. Then it went back like a coward. And I made a mistake. Why did I jump there? So because I jumped there, now it's going to pull back. And now it's just going to be more awkward. So once again, I did try to take him down, but then he pulled back and he's just gonna stay in that spot. So oh well, my bad. Couldn't make this work, but guess it's not gonna work out. You know, I should have just, if I had enough heavy, I could have get this run done by now. So now this is going to be the method where I'm going to be clearing all the ads. So I'm just going to stay in this spot. So So always make sure you pop your healing rift and then just take your time dealing with these curse thralls. Just clear all the ads down and then deal with the boss. So I'm gonna do a mini time skip. Once I clear all the ads, and it didn't really take that long, but I just didn't want to show it too much since it's basically me just standing in one spot, just shooting everything that just walks like a gentleman up the stairs. I'm gonna take down the final boss. Just use my linear. And then finally I took her down. And she spammed that horrible, horrendous smoke. Well, the poison. So we finally got the run done and I got platinum. Overall, the boss isn't so bad when you're using this build. Highly recommend to try it out since it is the meta for this season. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.